So over on stream, somebody was asking me how hard Lostbelt 5.1 was, and we kind of were discussing it on stream, which, by the way, if you want to be a part of those discussions, my Twitch is linked down in the description down below. I try to stream every weekday, although, you know, your boy is a college student, and trying to stream every weekday can get a little hard to do sometimes because of all the work that I have, but semester's wrapping up, so that should be getting a bit more consistent here, at least for like the next month and a half before school starts back up again. But yeah, we were talking about this, and I was like, this would actually make a really good video idea. Like, I'm sure there's a lot of people that haven't played the JP version, haven't looked into Lostbelts very much, and might be a little concerned after some of the other Lostbelts, because there were some pretty hard fights in some of those other Lostbelt chapters. So I'm here to tell you that Lostbelt 5.1 isn't really all that hard. There are some annoying fights here and there, and I think towards the end, you really experience some of the harder fights right there, especially with Poseidon. But most of the other fights are pretty easy to get through because most of them are like scripted solos where it's like you have to use Achilles, or you have to use like a Mash and Chiome comp, or you got to use Corday. But because they're solos, they're scripted. They're designed for you to be able to win, and so it's not really reliant on what you have in your box. And then there's a lot of fights where they force you to bring Super Orion, and oh my goodness, I know, the fiends at DW forcing you to have an NP5 Super Orion. It's almost like they're saying like, hey man, take this NP5 Arjuna altar with you into this story fight. And you're like, oh my goodness, the fiends making me take one of the best servants in the game. Like, it's not that big of a deal at all. Even in some of the fights, like there's one main fight where you have to fight Canis with Super Orion, but even with the type disadvantage, Super Orion kind of just puts her in a box and punts her into the next like dimension, bro. So it's really not that big of a deal. But yeah, before we get into this video, I upload these videos every single day, those being FGO videos. If you enjoy FGO, you know, servant reviews, discussions, top 5s, tier lists, I do all of those, and would greatly appreciate a like on the video and a subscribe to the channel. Your boy's on the road to 100k, and you know, that'll all just be greatly appreciated. As I mentioned before, if you want more content, my Twitch is linked down in the description down below. I try to stream every weekday, although again, we do miss some of those streams because I'm a busy student. But then you can also click that join button to become a channel member. I actually did just record the Gouda 6 challenge quest video, and that was actually really close. Morgan came really clutch for that Gouda 6 challenge quest, and that's going to be going up for channel members probably sometime today after this video goes up. And then finally, if you want to earn like gift cards and stuff for spending money on gacha games, which I know, baffling concept, but I'm affiliated with Loot Cakes. Their link is like at the first, it's at the top of the description. Jeez, I can't talk today, but it's at the top of the description. And basically how it works is you spend money on like FGO or something, right? And then you earn points to your Loot Cakes account. And when you have enough points, you can redeem them for gift cards. You can go to like get a GameStop gift card, a Starbucks gift card, or just like Google Play gift cards. So you can just buy more Saint Court, stuff like that. The good thing though is that since I'm affiliated, I can actually have like a group. I have like, what would you call it? Like a clan? Like, what would you call it? I don't know what you call it, but it's just a group on Loot Cakes. And basically when somebody in our group spends money on a gacha game, we all get points for it, right? So like the bigger the group gets, the more points we get collectively. So if that interests you, sign up for that in the description down below. With that being said, let's move into Atlantis. Now, the first thing that I think is of note, and this is kind of the first thing that really tripped me up when I was playing through this on JP for the first time, because my account really sucked, and this first fight is literally just a DPS test for your account, because you have to get through this 700k Berserker in 8 turns, which, if you have any like semblance of a built-up account, this is going to be child's play. You are probably just going to like, this is honestly, for the last couple of videos where I've been talking about how like Skahawk and some of those single target servants that have kind of fallen off a little bit, this is actually where they get to shine, because it's very rare where you have fights like this where you just need to output a massive amount of damage. But when these do come up, this is when servants like Skahawk, like Okita, this is when they look really, really good. Jalter, all of these servants look really good here. When they don't need to worry about looping their NP for a second time or anything, they look absolutely king here because their damage is insane. Right, their first NP damage is stupid dummy good, and it doesn't matter if they fall off on turn 2 or 3 because the fight ends, right? You just gotta break the break bar. That's all you gotta do. So if you have any of those decent, really strong single target servants, they're going to obliterate this. If you're a newer player, like, and especially if your account is brand spanking new, I would advise maybe going for somebody like Robin Hood, and like just anybody that you could possibly get to support him, because Robin Hood is capable of outputting a lot of damage because of his special poison buff that he can throw on enemies. And you just do that, you can definitely get his NP 2 or 3 times in this 8-turn window, especially with his really good NP gain skill. And then if you need somebody, like you need ideas to support him, Paracelsus is free. And then you also have someone like Mozart who's also free. Mozart also can drop 50 stars for you. And I know Robin Hood's really not known as a big crit servant, but if you're really having to like squeeze out as much damage as you possibly can to try to just get through this fight, any crit's probably going to matter. But that's what I did when I was playing JP, because like Robin Hood's a 3-star that's easy to get. Mozart's like a 1-star, so he's really easy to get. And I had Paracelsus from a few summons I did for whatever band it was at the time. I don't recall what it was, but you can definitely get through this if you just kind of pick up one of those people. Paris is also pretty good because Paris can do a lot of really good single target damage. It's just you're probably gonna have an easier time looping it back with Robin Hood because of his really good NP gain skill and the fact that, you know, he's an art servant. So pick your poison with those two, but just pick someone like that that can really get the job done. You don't want to try to stall this one out because you only have the 8 turns. So this is kind of just a DPS test. Once you get through this, as you can see, a lot of this other stuff, it just kind of turns normal. Like, don't be intimidated by that because that's just a 1-turn battle. You just need to live for a turn, which is stupid, dummy, easy to do. And then as you go through, a lot of these fights really aren't all that hard. Like I'm saying, like, a lot of these, they're just forcing you to bring certain NPC servants, but because they're forcing you to bring NPC servants, they're more of a skill test than a difficulty test, because they just want to see that you can actually use the servants and get through these nodes, because the fact that they're forcing you to bring these 2 servants mean it's already predetermined that you can win with these setups, and it's really not all that hard. It's more like just kind of cracking a puzzle, right? Like I'm saying, it's kind of a skill test. It's really not all that difficult, and there's a lot of these in this loss, but I think maybe the hardest ones that I can think of is like the final Achilles one where you have to fight like Chiron and like 6 of these like super Atlantean soldiers, but even then you can get it done. It's not super difficult. There's one with Mash and Chiyomi that maybe that one will be a little difficult because Chiyomi, if I recall correctly, has type disadvantage because you fight Lamias, which are casters, and if you don't have your Mash leveled up, she can kind of hold you back in this fight. If you're one of those people that has like a level 1 Mash, might not be all that good. You might want to maybe level her up a little bit, or just go for the straight revive, maybe. Just whichever floats your boat, however you kind of want to tackle that quest. That is something that you do want to kind of keep a note of, but really, there's not a whole lot else. Yeah, because see, there's one with Mangicardo. There's not a whole lot else here, right? Like, I kind of like looked through to make sure that there wasn't anything too crazy. And really, I think the next crazy fight is the Canis fights that you have to encounter, right? Which are, I believe they're over here, right? Like, this is the one where you have to bring Super Orion. Yeah. See, like, you might think this is really hard. You might be like, oh man, they're making me bring an archer against a lancer. But one, Super Orion just does so much crazy damage that it just doesn't matter, right? Like, and then they also buffed him for this fight, right? Like, they gave him Pierce Invincibility, a special damage mod against Canis, so he just absolutely just slaps her into oblivion, right? Like, he just destroys Canis for this fight, so it really just doesn't even matter at all. Makes it really easy. And then the same thing, like, you look at this Wotamine fight, you're like, whoa, like 4 break bars, 5 HP bars total. That's crazy. I can't get through this. But it's just like, you just need to live after 4 turns. Like, that's all you gotta do. And then look, no battle. Then it's back to reading story. You know what I'm saying? It's just not that difficult. Yeah, there's one that I was kind of talking about. This is the one where you have to fight like the casters and you have to use Chiyomi and Mash. Can be a little difficult because she's an assassin and they're casters, but it's definitely manageable to get through. You kind of just need to pepper your attacks to all 3 of them and slowly like whittle them down. This is like one of the few times I think Chiyomi's curse has actually helped me out in a fight, because you whittle them down and it does more damage than her face cards. But then, as you can see, like, just not a whole lot else to really worry about. I mean, you fight Cerberus like 500 billion different times, not a big deal. And then, oh, look at this. Orion versus Orion. Gee golly willikers. Do you think this is going to be a hard fight, dude? I don't think so at all. Like, it's easy. The Charlotte Corday fight, not too difficult. I mean, even that, like, she's got some thing, like, it's like nothing here is really, like, super exceptional, right? Like, she has the guts, and, like, if that's gonna stop you, then I don't know, bro. Like, I don't know, bro. Like, you're gonna get stopped by a guts, really? You're gonna throw that at me? The crit chance up. Half the servants in the game have passive like skills that just like lower, not passive skills, but like they have added effects to their skills where they like lower crit chance, right? So it's just like, really, bro? Probably not gonna do anything. Plus, she's an assassin, and I don't know. Do you guys know any like really good single target casters that might just yeet Corday into oblivion? I don't know. Go west. That's all I gotta say about that one. and then yeah, then you have a lot of dialogue, not a whole lot of quest over here. You fight Cerberus again, and you'll actually fight Cerberus a lot. Like, you'll fight Cerberus like 3 different times or something like that. But then again, it's not too big of a deal. If you're really struggling, this one's a rider, and, you know, King Hassan over here is pretty good against this fight. He kind of just obliterates this thing. But really, the only fight that I think is actually annoying is down here at the Poseidon Core. I think this is where it gets a little annoying, because it just has like generic annoying boss things, like where it's giving itself NP every single turn, and it's like giving chance-based invincibility. But again, there's CEs you can equip to get around this, especially like, I believe the one I'm thinking of, it has like Arjuna on it. I believe it's called like Rivals. It has Arjuna and Karna on it. If you're an older player, you might have it, but it gives you like extra divine damage, and it gives you like pierce invincibility. If I'm remembering correctly, I might there's like 2 of them that I'm don't know which one I'm remembering, because there's one that just has Arjuna on it that I'm pretty sure is like 50% starting charge and gives you pierce invincibility, and then the divine one I don't think gives you pierce invincibility. So ignore that. Ignore what I just said. But he is divine as well. I did want to double check that. He is divine. So any of your servants that get special bonus damage against divine, they're going to be massively useful here. Just bring them and just chunk this dude. It really doesn't get annoying until you get to this last fight right here with Chiron, because Chiron himself can be a little bit tanky, be a little annoying with the fact that he revives with guts, and he revives with 30%. So he does come, like, it's not like he comes back and you can just like one-shot him. Like, you probably will need like a decent crit or something if you're gonna one-shot him after he revives. So that can be a little bit annoying. And then Poseidon is obviously just doing just stupid amounts of things, right? Like, he's still taking this, which is massively annoying. Stunning party members is always annoying. Like, it's just a lot of annoying stuff. And then like here, it's just like these things aren't the biggest. Well, these 2 really aren't the biggest things, right? Unless you're really relying on star gen, it shouldn't be that much of a problem. This can be annoying because it's going to make you like really fragile, and that can be really bad. You could just get obliterated by that. And then this could be really bad as well, because it's 10 turns of lowering your NP generation rate. And this is why like having big beefy batteries, especially like different batteries as well, is very, very good. So you can kind of get around stuff like that. That's what I'm always talking about. But realistically, you can get around it, right? Bring somebody with pierce invincibility, and you can definitely cheese this fight a bit better, right? Like, you can definitely cheese it, especially for this fight. They are both divine, because Chiron, if people are forgetting, is divine. He does have divinity, so you can bring someone to deal with him as well. Karna, unironically, might do pretty good here, if you just need him to like soften them both up, because Karna bends Chiron over backwards and just obliterates him, especially after his buffs. And then Karna can definitely like soften up the Poseidon Core a little bit. Then he can just bring in just literally anybody else to finish the job. Really not the most difficult, but I can understand if you don't have certain pieces, it can be a little annoying. But I would say the name of the game is anti-divine for these 2. But hopefully that kind of helps. Maybe that eases some people's nerves. It's pretty good. Yeah. Yeah, hopefully that kind of eases people's nerves going into this. They're not like super stressed out about this. It's really not all that hard. Now, 5.2, when that comes around, that is a little more difficult. 5.2 has some very notable, hard, annoying fights to get through. But 5.1 isn't nearly as bad. So hopefully that kind of like eases some people's nerves. You kind of know what to expect going into this. When 5.2 gets announced, I'm sure I'll do a video talking about all the boss fights in that one. But until then, hope this helped you guys out. And if it did, you know, leave a like, subscribe, all that good stuff. But with everything being done, I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. You guys have yourselves a nice day. Peace. Late, guys.